Today we are looking at I am looking at YouTube channels to help you identify things that may be holding you back from your channel, maybe some things that you could do that would help you do better on YouTube, or things that I might notice that might help you make more money from what it is that you're doing. But the idea today is that we here on the Tube Spanner channel are looking at your content, not your content, but we're looking at your channel, and we are just giving you some advice on things that you can do better based on a decade of experience being a content creator and working with other content creators as well. So if you are watching this on the replay, I do encourage you to sit back and listen to some of the things that we talk about, because even though your channel might not be the channel that's pulled up, it's still information that you can look at your channel and you can say, you know what, he mentioned this for this particular creator. Is this something that would apply to me? And am I doing these things that he's talking about? So you can just use it as a way to get information in terms of some things that you should be looking out for when it comes to your YouTube channel as well. So as we get into this, if this is your first time here, all you have to do, because this is free courtesy of Tube Spanner, but all you have to do is you just need to put a word that I show up on the screen. You just need to put that into the chat. That's it. And when you put that word into the chat, then that qualifies you to have your channel pulled up. And then the tool that I use here from StreamYard, this is going to randomly select somebody that puts in that word. And when you do that, then it gives us the opportunity to to pull up your channel and give you some feedback on what it is that you are doing. So just some quick catch up really quick. So I had this scheduled at 11 in my calendar, but I had it scheduled at 10 on YouTube, and I had another call at 10. So because of that, I had to, move this one back kind of last minute there. So just wanted to give you a heads up kind of on what happened there that caused that a little bit of a delay today. So without further ado, we are going to just go ahead and get into the content today. But as a quick reminder for those of you that are not familiar with Tube Spanner, because we are here on the Tube Spanner channel today, Tube Spanner is a tool. It's a workflow tool that will help you in all aspects of your YouTube channel. It helps you from ideation of coming up with good video ideas to writing scripts for those video ideas, either, your personal scripts or through, using an AI assistant to help you with those scripts, to writing better titles, to making thumbnails for your videos. It even has little outlier things that content creators need as well. Like, for example, the social bio page that I use, if you go to nickniman.com/bio, that's actually Tube Spanner. So if you have a Tube Spanner account, you also get one of those pages, and it's a great way to interlink all of your social media accounts as well. And I'll actually just show you mine here really quick, just so that you can see what it is that I'm talking about, because I really like this a lot because I think it looks cool. And I think it just kind of represents us as creators, in a good way. But for mine, this is what mine looks like right there. And you can see that when somebody goes to this particular page, it redirects them to my Tube Spanner URL here. So you don't have to have a website redirect or anything like that. You can just share this link here. But you can see here, I can add a subscribe button. I can add and color different buttons for different things. I can add all my social media accounts and all of that. Little blurb about myself, background graphics, but I can fully customize everything. So it just makes it really easy to interlink all of my social accounts. So I have that over on, my Twitter. I have it on my YouTube account. I have it on, I think I might have it on LinkedIn. I know I got it on Facebook. I've got it all over the place. And it's just an easy way to let people know of the other things that I'm doing. But to try that out and to see all the other stuff that Tube Spanner offers, because there's a ton of different tools in there. I didn't even get into the browser extension and all the cool stuff that it does. But you can try out Tube Spanner for yourself at tubespanner.com. Or if you want to check out the browser extension, you can do so at just go to Google search and type in Tube Spanner Chrome extension or whatever browser it is that you are using, and it'll pop up there. But I really recommend you try it. It's got a ton of different tools that can help you. Kyrate, what's going on? Hope that you're doing fantastic. What's up? Hope that you are doing great. So let's go ahead and get into the content today. So the very first question, or the very first word that we're going to put up on the screen today is Tube Spanner. And obviously the reason I'm putting that up there is because we are here on the Tube Spanner, channel today. So I just want to make sure that everybody is familiar, like Tube Spanner, let's get it in our brains, right? Tube Spanner. But all I have to do is put that word into the chat right now. And then this tool that I'm using is going to just start collecting those entries. And after we get a handful of them, because there's not a ton of people in here right now. So as we collect a handful of them, then we'll just, pull it from there. So far here, Doug Houston, what's going on, dude? Hope you're doing great. Travels Unfiltered, trying to learn bikes. Mooj, I think is how you say that one. Critter Hunter, Creator Classroom. Hope everybody's doing great. Sika from Denmark, what's going on? K Skis, hope everybody's doing great. Imperial Remnant, nice to see you in here today. Geology, dude. Monique, yeah, I hope everybody's doing great. Super excited to pull these channels up today. Chantel, I'm not sure if you're here, if you ended up going to bed, but if you are here, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. If you went to bed, that's cool. Catch you another time. Train Room, what's up? Homekeeping Channel. Nice to see you in here as well. So it looks like we got 19 entries. I'm going to wait. We got, it looks like 23 people in here. So I'm going to wait for one more just to make sure that that we got everybody covered that wants to get it pulled up. And if that doesn't come here in just a second, then I'll just go ahead and pull it. And 3, 2, and we're just going to go ahead and pull it. Let's go. Boom. All right. So let's see what channel it is that we are going to be looking at today. Okay. So we've got Sika from Denmark. So let me, oops, how do I do that? Okay, whoa, nope, don't want to do that. There we go. Okay, Seeker from Denmark. And yeah, I was opening like all kinds of windows and stuff over there. Didn't know what was happening. Okay, so Seeker from Denmark. So it looks like you are primarily a shorts creator here, just at a quick glance on what I'm seeing here. Let me make this bigger so everybody can see what's going on. Where's that little side panel view at? Let's just go with this. Nope. And this. Nope. There we go. Okay. So Seeker from Denmark. So right out of the gate, Seeker from Denmark, Lego review, comparison, and much more. Okay. So it looks like you're doing Lego related content and some other stuff. So let's start digging through what you are actually doing. So it says a new channel working on long form content at the moment. That's good. So right out of the gate, it doesn't look like you have too many pieces of content that are labeled longer form videos. So the very first thing that I do want to just, bring to your attention is when you probably intended these to be shorts originally, but just based on how YouTube works, if you do upload a video that's more than a minute, it ends up coming up into, a regular 16:9 ratio view like this. So because of that, you do want to make sure that anything you're uploading to YouTube is that you want to be a long form video, that you are uploading it as a landscape video. And the reason for that is because that's the default experience on YouTube. So when people hop onto YouTube, they're watching content. If they're not in the short shelf, then they're expecting to see that, that landscape content. In addition to that, it's also important to make sure that you do have your advanced features enabled on your channel because you're just getting started here. And it's also important to make sure that you are using the custom thumbnail feature. Even if you upload a video that is vertical, you still want to use a custom thumbnail that is not. And all you have to do for that is just take a picture of whatever it is that you've made. Just try to make it a nice looking picture and then use that as your thumbnail. Just going to check something here really quick. Yeah, other things as well is like when you are making these, like you can see how just how shaky the footage is and stuff like that, how it's just kind of shaking all over the place. I would definitely try to get, some type of tripod you can put your camera on or something like that for the sake of just making it like an easier piece of content to watch. And another thing, as well as I see here that you are using hashtags. So when it comes to your content on YouTube, it's really important. And I'm just going to show you why this is important really fast, as long as I can find it really quick. Give me a second. Oh, I think I might have deleted it already. Hold on. I have to do one more check. Okay, so this is for search, but this is also just for general context, right? So this is directly from the Google Help pages, and this is why the thing that I'm telling you to do right here in a second is important. But you can see here how they have how well the title, description, and video content match the viewer's search as part of YouTube search. That's also taken into account when it comes to long form content as well in the recommendation system. So because of that, you do want to make sure that when you are uploading videos to YouTube that you do fully fill out your video description. YouTube recommends that you do at least a paragraph or two, and that is just to give their system context and to give viewers context when they're interacting with your content into exactly what it is that you offer. And with that description, I would also, like, you don't want to repeat words and things like that. But one thing that I would definitely do is if you're building like a Harry Potter Lego castle, then in your description, I would say something like, we built this Harry Potter Lego castle out of, Legos, and it took us, about this time to do. The thing that I enjoyed about it was, this, whatever, and just kind of, explain everything out a little bit. KMH family, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. All Gold Prospecting, what's up? So that's number one. Number two is, of course, you're going to be uploading more content. It looks like you're just getting started. So, 12 videos, you've already got 29 subscribers. So you're heading, down the right path. But one thing that I would definitely make sure that you are also being mindful of, and I'm just going to say this based on what it is that you say up here in your channel art, just because you are just getting started. So as you're getting started, it is absolutely, it's okay. It's absolutely okay to publish content about different things if you don't really know what it is you want to make videos about right now. It's better to know what it is you're trying to accomplish with the channel and to know the videos that you want to make and to know the art of the audience that you're trying to serve with that content so that you can make sure that every video that you publish on the channel is a good fit for those people. But right now, because you're just getting started, if you're not really sure what that looks like yet, then publish, like you're currently doing. But over time, if you want to grow faster and get more, views and all that, over time, just start fine tuning things to where you start making content for a very specific type of viewer on YouTube. And the reason that's important is because up here you have like Lego review comparisons and much more. And to me, that just suggests that you're going to be talking about all kinds of different things on your channel. So the whole way that you want to look at a YouTube channel when you're first getting started, and really just in general, is you want to look at it as a resource of content for a certain type of viewer who's interested in certain things. One of those things is going to be you, of course, but you also want to make sure that the content that you're publishing, that people are interested. That think of it like this: if somebody watches one video of yours, they should be able to watch a bunch of other videos on your channel as well, without them getting distracted with a piece of content that's not relevant to them in any way, shape, or form. Okay. So because of that, just think of that moving forward and try, if you can, try to, just kind of think to yourself like, okay, if I'm going to be publishing to YouTube, how can I do this in the way that is how can I do this in a way that's going to serve a particular type of viewer who's interested in very particular things? Let's see here. So next up, we've got, for the next word here, we're going to do tube spanner. And then we've got another thing that we put in here. Let me go to window view. We got tube spanner bio is what we're going to do on this one. And again, reason I'm using tube spanner for these because we're clearly, if you can't tell by all the logos and stuff on the screen, we're clearly on the tube spanner channel today. But just to give reference really quick on the channel that I just looked at, another thing too is like if you look here at the tube spanner channel, right? It even says here the tool helps you be a better creator, but so does the YouTube channel, right? If you go to my channel, the same exact thing. I help content creators thrive on YouTube. So because of that, every video on my channel is appropriate for a content creator. It's segmented a little bit because content creators do different things like live stream and do mobile content and all of that. But it's targeted towards content creators. So if you're a content creator, if you're not streaming now, you know that once you start live streaming, you'll probably find some good live streaming information on my channel too, right? That's kind of the idea. So when you're publishing, you just want to make sure that every video that you have is in alignment with the people that you are trying to reach. All right, so here we go. So we're going to spin here. I'm going to give it just a couple of seconds here to let everybody get their channel in here. And if you are just joining us, this is all free thanks to Tube Spanner. And all you have to do to participate is just put what I have on the screen, that Tube Spanner bio. Just put that into the chat right now, and then it automatically will add you to this queue. All right, here we go. I need to make this more like game showy, kind of like my brother in D was doing. Okay, Maya Lovey is our channel that we are pulling up. Super cool here. Let's see what we got. Okay, 404,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. This is fantastic. Love looking at established channels. So right out of the gate, let's just look for clarity on what it is that you are doing. So we have up here, lifestyle, beauty, vlogs, fashion, and travel. One thing, like this is all okay. It's fine. But one thing that I was going to say is I would definitely try to make this, just stand out just a little bit more to let people know exactly what it is that you have on the channel. I create lifestyle content that takes you through the journey of life, discussing real life topics. I'm going to believe is what that says, including beauty, fashion, travel, decor, hair tutorials, and many other topics. I want to inspire, motivate, entertain, and brighten up your day. Okay, so right out of the gate, one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is just a best practice thing anyway, is out of all of those types of content, if you haven't done this yet, so I'm just going to go into your videos here and just kind of see. Okay, so you have some get ready with me stuff. You have productivity, content, night routines, things like that. Okay, all these are solid. So one thing I would definitely do is, if you haven't done this already, is inside of your YouTube analytics, you have something called a grouping feature. And with that grouping feature, and just let me know in the chat, Maya, if you're familiar with this or not. But with the grouping feature, what you can do is you can say, okay, over the last 90 days or over the last 6 months, these are all of my get ready with me videos. These are all of my night routine videos. These are all my deep cleaning videos. These are my try on videos. And you can start putting your content into these groups, and then you can compare those groups against each other to really start dialing in on what's working for you the most based on whatever it is you're trying to do. So for example, if it's just on what videos are driving more views, then in that case, you'll be able to easily see as a content type, like, okay, these get ready with me videos are driving way more views than the nighttime routine videos, as an example. And when you are looking at your content in that way, or even if it's subscriber gain or, your CPMs, which ones drive more revenue, when you do that, it helps you be able to make more informed decisions around your channel. Because let's say you're in a sprint, and I don't know the approach that you're taking with this, because you're doing great, but I don't know if you're being intentional about everything it is that you're doing, or you're just making what it is that you want and then just kind of putting it up and hoping people, respond to it. I'm not sure. But if you are trying to be strategic about it, and you're like, okay, for this, this period of, let's say, 60 to 90 days, one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to focus really hard on generating as much ad revenue as possible. So then because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my content broken down into these different groups. I'm going to figure out which ones typically drive the most revenue, right? Which content drives the most revenue as a content set over time. Same exact thing goes if you're in a subscriber sprint and you're trying to do that. Same exact thing goes if you have things that you're wanting to mess around with. Like, for example, here you have get ready with me spelled out in your titles. Here you have GRWM, right, which says the same exact thing, but this is the abbreviated version compared to writing it out. If you have a bunch of titles where it's written out like this, you can also compare them, as well, and start looking for little details like click-through rate and stuff like that. But you can compare all of these things against the videos. So Maya says, hey, Nick, it's Hannity from KMH Family. This is Baby Girl's channel with, for sure, have her watch this when she gets home. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, I would definitely have her go into the groups and really start fine tuning things, because if she can get that deep understanding of the content that typically performs the best, then she can just really lean into it. And if she leans into it, then that can really take her to that next level really fast. And based on the view counts that you guys are getting, you'll be able to make some really informed decisions based on the activity that you're currently getting. But the next thing that I want to bring to your attention here on this particular channel is actually, I'm just going to go ahead and just plug this real quick. So like right here, see how you have Instagram, TikTok, and the family channel here. I would definitely use either TubeSpanner or something similar to just have one link right here that just sends people to everything. So they can go to the bio, because you're going to lose them anyway, right off of YouTube. So that you can go from here to the bio, right? So you're on that bio, and then from the bio, then it can go out to any of the social media platforms. It can also go out to anything that she has for sale. So for example, if she has merch or something like that, then you can have her merch right up here at the very top of her links. And then underneath that, you could have, TikTok or YouTube and Instagram, whatever. So this is just a good kind of bridged way to bring attention to anything that she has to offer, which is another thing I'm going to look at here in a second. But the next elephant in the room that we're going to talk about is I would also spend more time on looking at the thumbnails at a small size. So the reason I would do that is because you can see on some of these, like even though they've done well, you can see on some of these where some things are just kind of, you know, difficult to read. Like you're doing the right thing here by making like night routine big. But for this other text, I would just start thinking to myself, like, do I even need to have like that girl on there? Right. Cause that's kind of a stretch to read that. Same exact thing here. Like you have this small text going on down here that doesn't really add anything to it, to where just a bigger emphasis on the morning routine might be exactly what it is that you need there. Other things as well is if you're going to put yourself in the thumbnail in images like this, I would also just consider that in suggested videos, and you can actually see this on your own account. If you look at this in a suggested video, so right now YouTube on a desktop, they're moving things around with the new update. On phones, they've also made them bigger on phones as well for suggested videos, but on channel pages and currently on computers, most of the experiences on YouTube, the suggested videos are really small. That's changing, but because that is small, on some pages of YouTube, you want to make sure that you are optimizing for it. So for example, things like this that, you know, might grab attention, I would definitely, you know, make yourself bigger here. Right. And then if you're going to have supportive things on the side, then, you know, feel free to do that. But I would just have that one clear focus and make that focus just really big and easy to see. Same exact thing here, you know, in this particular situation as well. Okay. And this one here, based on the regular activity of your channel, I would go in there and I would mess with this one immediately. So, you know, you had a good streak here. You're like 46,000, 108,000, 100 and something thousand, 116,000, 67, 51. This one underperformed massively in comparison to pretty much everything that you've published in the last, looks like 6 months. Maybe this one might have come close, but it's a Christmas video. So I would definitely go in and I would mess with this one right now. So I know it's summer essentials, so you know that might be a timing thing. I'm not sure, but I would definitely mess with this one a little bit and see if you can find a way to, you know, kind of stand out there a little bit better. Maybe not even having summer picks in the title there. Maybe making everyone bigger here, and then maybe putting summer picks, you know, kind of across the bottom there, so that all the people in the photo are, you know, bigger, so it grabs more attention. And then they'll look at the summer picks and then hopefully go down to the title from there. But just based on the history here, I would definitely go in and I would update this like ASAP. Another thing that I would do also for problems like this is, since you have an established channel with lots of activity, is I would also go into your analytics and I would start looking for baselines on performance. So of course, there's always going to be outliers. Things are always going to be different. Like for example, this video is 7 minutes, where these, you know, bigger ones, actually this one's still 7 minutes too, but these like bigger ones are like, you know, 15, 11 minutes, that kind of stuff, 21 over here, 37. So there's going to be, you know, things like that. And of course, there's always going to be videos that underperform compared to some other videos. But what you want to do is you want to start looking for just like a general baseline that's based on impressions. So like, for example, if you notice that by the time your videos hit, you know, 100,000 or 200,000 impressions on home pages specifically, that your videos that perform well typically have a click-through rate of X, then in that case, tracking that. So when you publish your video saying, okay, we're rolling up now on, you know, 100 or 200,000 impressions on home pages, and our thumbnail is way below average in terms of the click-through rate, or our entire package, either the topic, thumbnail, or title, is pulling us down from our average. So now that we have that base mark to look against, now we're going to be making an informed decision here on how our videos typically do, and that informs us to update the packaging of that video. So I would definitely get that sorted, like immediately. Some prom stuff behind the scenes. Hold on really quick. So get ready with me, get ready with me, get ready with me. Interesting. Yeah, other things too that I would definitely lean into is, I mean, if you can, and this, you know, like you're a creator, so this is all going to come down to, you know, what it is that you want to do and how much you want to kind of turn up the knob. But another thing that I would do also is I would be like, man, these get ready with me videos, they seem to do, not that one, sorry, they seem to do, you know, like okay as a content set. So I would definitely I would start leaning into those, a little bit more, at least for some of these videos. And this is where grouping, would be able to see that in like a bigger picture view. But with these, if they seem to be performing better, just kind of leaning into some of those. Beacon of my life. Yeah. Yeah. So in your case, I would definitely start working on just the packaging in general. Like you're doing great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like, you're doing anything wrong per se, but I do think that you can improve things in order to get an even better response than what it is that you're currently getting. And the very first place that I would start with that is the grouping to understand what it is that they want from you. And then the second thing would be just working on the packaging and doing lots of experimentation on, the sizing of things in your thumbnails and the focus of things in your thumbnails, right? So for example, here you've got like all kinds of stuff going on. You got a bunch of people here. One person looks like they're really tall. Here you got a bunch of people. They are all, similar size. I think that might all be the one person, but it's just different outfits, but it's all, the same size. But I would definitely be experimenting with things like that. Like, okay, if I have 3 people in here versus 5 people in here versus however many people this is, like do we seem to run across a number where people are responding to things a little bit better, right? And this is another thing where the grouping feature will help you, because then you can say, okay, here's all of our thumbnails with 3 people in them. Here's all of our thumbnails with 5 people in them. Here's all of our thumbnails where it's just like a person featured with maybe a little bit of text or something like that. But by doing that, especially, how you guys are moving and the view counts that you're getting, that'll help you start really understanding your audience really quickly in terms of exactly what it is that they respond to. So let's click into one of these, and then we're going to go down into the description over here. Now let's go into the deep cleaning one here, because this one probably has some good opportunities. Yeah, your case too. Make sure that you are filling out the descriptions as well. It adds context to viewers, also adds context to the system in terms of exactly what the video is about. I love that you have a newsletter. That's fantastic. You have a shop where people can get merch. You've got TubeBuddy in here. Hey, you should put TubeSpanner down here too. They have an affiliate program, by the way. Contact email, mail of Gmail, let's be friends, music playlist. Okay. Okay, so one thing I want to bring to your attention now, because in this case you are young, you are going to have a lot of people watching your videos that are probably also interested in being content creators. So some of this is going to be okay, but one thing that I would definitely consider is, if this entire video is about organizing your messy room, if there's anything that you bring attention to in this video from a product standpoint, I would link to that stuff down here, because you have like all of your camera gear, and that's fine. Like leave that, because, like people want to be YouTubers. But I would prioritize things that are more relevant to the content. So, for example, instead of having, since you do a lot of get readies with me and, things like that, maybe having like, for those, have like a listing of like your favorite accessories, and then have that as like your link block down there along with the camera gear. If you're doing something like this where it's organization, anything that you can bring attention to that you have already that you use to organize, then make sure that you work that into the videos. Doing that type of thing is going to help you increase the amount of money that you're generating from your that you're generating as an affiliate, because everything that you're putting together is going to be relevant to the people that are interacting with the content. Also, be really careful with this. And I know that it's almost like a feeling like you kind of have to make connections like this. But I would just be really careful, because you might have a different type of viewer than the type of viewers that are going to be watching a family channel, and vice versa, right? The people that are watching the family channel might not necessarily be watching like Get Ready with Me's, right? So when you're sending traffic back and forth, and this is like a higher level thing, but like if you're sending people back and forth that are not a perfect fit for the content, but they're subscribing because they're just trying to like do you a favor, then in that particular case, you're seeding the channel with a bunch of people that are not genuinely interested in the content, and that can end up working against you, especially if you are sending people at scale. So I would just be really careful about that as well. That's cool. Love the community, the community move here. I think that's fantastic. One thing that you are missing here is an opportunity to watch another video or playlist. So if somebody is interacting with this content, um, another play that you would want to, make is that even if you are going to do something like this, where you have this like message to your subscribers, I would still put something here that says like, hey, by the way, I have more videos like this here, and then put a link to the playlist. Right. And then that way, for people that are reading this, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to leave a comment down here. Then they also see that. And then for those people that are interested, they'll click on that and continue to watch more content. And if you can get a lot of people doing that, then that can also help this originating video do better as well. Let's see here. Another thing that I would do, just when you have a moment, this isn't like a mission critical thing, but I would definitely just start reevaluating what it is that you're showing on your channel page. So if people are still responding to this stuff at a competitive level compared to everything else, then keep it. But if not, then I would just start kind of resorting some of this. And the reason for that is because everything here is 10 months or older. Everything here is like 1 to 4 years. Let's see here. These are your most recent videos, so that's fine. And then a month, 6 months. Yeah, most of this is dated except for this one. 6 months, 2 years. Yeah, same here. Yeah, I would definitely get some more fresh content on the channel. So first, this is a great one here where you can kind of sacrifice this Christmas one and just kind of put it up there again, around Christmas time next year or at the end of this year. But basically, out of all the sections that you get here, I would do like you have morning routines, day in my life. I would definitely do the get ready with me stuff on here. I would just try to keep this in alignment with what it is that's driving the channel. So in order to see what's driving the channel right now, you can go into your YouTube analytics, go into your creator studio, hit the analytics tab over on the left-hand side of the screen. Once you hit that, you're going to see a page. When you scroll down that page, it's going to show you the videos that are currently bringing the most traffic to your channel. Start taking all of those videos that are bringing traffic into the channel and start thinking to yourself, okay, if somebody was watching this video, what does that tell me that this viewer is interested in? And then from the one that drives the most traffic to the channel, if like, let's say, for example, if it's like your morning routines or your night routines, then you would want to have your most recent videos at the top of your channel. And then right underneath that, if you find that your morning routines are driving the most recent activity, then you would put those next. If your get ready with me's are underneath that, then you would put that one next, and so on. And the reason that you do this is because you are optimizing your page for the interests of your viewers. So if somebody does watch a video and then they hit your channel page looking for more, as they scroll down the page, it's easier for them to find the content that they're interested in without them having to hit your videos page and go and try to hunt stuff down. So it just makes it a easier and more pleasant viewer experience for them. With that said, if you are doing any of this stuff strategically, like let's say, for example, if you've identified that this video right here just crushes on affiliate sales, and you're just wanting to make sure that you bring attention to it, that's fine too. But the idea I'm trying to express is that it's helpful to just have your channel page updated based around the content that's driving your channel to make for that easier viewer experience. So I'm going to move on to another channel now. But I think the thing for you that will add the most value more than anything else, because even like the thumbnails you're doing, I think you can package things a little bit better. But even with that, like you're still getting a good response from what it is that you're doing. But the thing that I would do is I would start thinking about like the higher level things, like work on those things too. But I would start thinking of like the higher level things, like what is it that I'm making that people really want from me, that they want the most from me, and use your grouping feature to figure that out, so that you can just lean more into that. You don't have to do just that, but you can. When you identify those things, you can say, okay, this is what they want the most from me. This is what they want the second most from me, and so on. And you can keep that in mind when you're planning your content out and you're deciding what videos that you want to make over the next like 30 to 90 days. All right. So next one that we have here on the list is none. So we're going to go ahead and just pick it here. Let's see your channel reviews for the stream. We're going to do Upload Assistant. The reason I'm doing Upload Assistant is because TubeSpanner has an Upload Assistant inside of the browser extension that helps you upload your videos more efficiently. And you can find out more about that by trying the extension for yourself or going to tubespanner.com, seeing more about what's going on over there. Do, 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 do. My pleasure. My pleasure. Hopefully she'll take that and hopefully she'll take that info and run with it. Like the fun stuff about being a content creator is the making the content part, right? That's the fun part. And when it gets to the other parts, which are, like, okay, how can I really optimize things so that if people do go to my video descriptions, that they're seeing the things I want them to see first? What is it do I want them to see first? What content is driving the channel more than others? What is it that people seem to want the most from me? What generates the most engagement? What do people always click on when I publish it? Like getting super familiar with all of those types of things are the types of things that you need right now on that channel. And if you can take those things, especially the things about the content that people want the most, you can really accelerate what's happening. All right, so we're at 33, waiting for just a couple of more here. Two-Ton Waffle says, even if not picked, there's a lot of information to learn with these reviews. Absolutely. Yeah, one thing that I like about getting experienced channels is that with an experienced channel, it shows people that we all have things that we can do better, right? Like on my case, on my channel, the thing that I can do better is just upload more consistently because I'm just not as, aggressive as I used to be on my channel. I actually just made a deal with somebody that's going to make me more aggressive. But when it comes to, me, the thing that I can do better is, just uploading on a more consistent basis. When it comes to, Maya's channel, the thing that she can do better is just getting that better understanding of what it is that our audience wants, and then maybe packaging things, a little bit better. But I love being able to showcase bigger channels. I think I saw Creaky Blinder in here. I would love to look at his channel too, because he's another one. He's got like 60,000 subscribers, maybe 70 now. I'm not sure, but we could look at his too. Oh yeah, there he is right there. But we could look at his too and just kind of give him some tips here later on. Sorry, he's got 84,000. So I'm going to put him in the queue over here, but we're not going to look at him yet, but I'm going to put him in the queue just so you guys can also get some insight over there too, as long as that's okay with you, Creaky. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So we got Keep Pressing, Keep Praising. So this is a religious channel, it looks like, based on the channel imagery there. So for this one, booyah. Okay, keep pressing, keep praising. So we've got Put It in God's Hands with lyrics. Sings, what was a God drinking from my saucer with lyrics. Okay, so this is music. A Christian-based sound studio dedicating to helping gospel music artists record their demos, capable of remote collaborations in which raw vocals are sent via email and then enhanced in my DAW. Added instruments. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wouldn't even worry about putting all this stuff in here, but feel free. It doesn't hurt anything. Let's see here. So funeral plans with lyrics, Chainbreaker with lyrics. Okay. So the very first thing I want to bring to your attention is, unless these are really famous songs, I would start trying to optimize these around like emotion of some kind. And the reason for that is because I'm not sure like where you're currently getting the views from, if any of this is like external traffic or if this is all happening on YouTube. But like something like this is at least tells people that are religious or that are Christians that this has something to do with religion. So like with this particular one, it's a little bit more clear. This one, it's not clear at all. Like I held on, right, with lyrics. So one thing I want you to do is I want you to think from your perspective. If you were to log on to YouTube and you just had an image shown up and then it just has a couple of words on it that doesn't give you any context at all, like how excited are you going to be to click on that? Especially when YouTube is recommending a bunch of other things that they think you are likely to enjoy. It's going to be pretty low, right? Because Like here, Angie Bowling sings Goodness of God. That one also has, the religious, tones to it. So it's pretty clear. Well, it's sort of clear because they're singing, which suggests that it's a song. And then you have Goodness of God in there to where, that might grab, somebody's attention. But the ones like, I Held On or Funeral Plans or The Next Steps, those types of things, I would definitely lean more on the emotional side of the song instead of just going with the name of the song, because the qualifier for these videos, and this is something that everybody should think about, is like what does somebody have, like what are the qualifiers for somebody to be interested in that next video that you're going to publish or the last video that you published. So if it were to show up on like a homepage or suggested videos, because that's where most of the traffic is, so or most of the views come from. So like as an example, if this right here, He Knows My Name, sung by Angie Bowling, right? So with this particular video right here, if this shows up on somebody's homepage, the qualifier for this is that people have to know who Angie Bowling is in order to care about this content. He Knows My Name might suggest some religious things. If people are watching a lot of religious content, YouTube detects it and then they end up showing this to them. But I would definitely just consider like, okay, what is it that somebody needs to do here, right? In order to be qualified to be interested in this content. So here they got to know who she is, or they got to know this song. When it comes to this one, same thing, they have to have some type of, religious interest, but here they also have to be like, okay, well, what is this, right? I'm sure if you click on this, your audience retention probably goes like this, I would think, and that's just from people clicking on it, trying to figure out what it is. So I would just try to get a little bit more like, let's workshop this. Let's give you some examples. So like, for example, let's say I Held On. Let's say that this is like a motivational type song, to where the whole thing is like I held on. So it's like inspirational, right? In that particular case, inspirational prayer music. Well, that has lyrics, so maybe it wouldn't be prayer music, but anything that doesn't have it. So like, inspirational, music for prayers, or inspirational music for praying, or something along those lines, right? Because then you're at least saying that it's inspirational music and here's a use case for it. So they'd have to be interested in inspirational music at that moment in time, and they'd have to be interested in praying at that moment in time, which those are pretty heavy qualifiers for somebody just logging onto YouTube. But they might, click into it and bookmark it for later or something like that. But I would definitely try to lean on emotion for these more than just the song names, because with the song names, you got to be familiar with the song for it to matter. One thing that I do like is some imagery that's more clear, like this, to where even though it is like a song here, this imagery right here is like, oh, okay, I see what's going on there. And then if it had not been, even with that, I would still change that to something emotional, to where, you can try to make it something other than just the name of the song. I wonder what your most popular video looks like. David cover, Amazing Grace guitar instrumental. Yeah, so like in this one, right? This is a good example. So like here, for the qualifier for this particular video is you could be somebody interested in guitar, like I am. You could be somebody interested in the Amazing Grace song, like I am. You could be somebody that just likes listening to instrumentals in the background. You're like, oh, hey, what is this? Amazing Grace. Oh yeah, I remember that. And then they can listen to it in the background, right? The Potter Knows with Clay lyrics. Not sure for this one. I think the imagery itself is probably what won that particular one. And then Put It in God's Hands. Yeah, I think that one's a little bit clear there. But even with that, right? Like I would still update like most of your titles and just try to make them more meaningful to the viewer based on the message more than the actual song name itself. I think if you do that, then you're going to put yourself in a much better situation to bring attention to the music that you're making. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention as well, really quick, is I just went into one of these videos, and up here you have funeral plans with lyrics written by this person, performed by this person. Here's the lyrics to all this. Like, this is another one to where filling out your video description is definitely a good move. Fill out your video description, talk about the song, talk about the emotions that it invokes, those types of things, after you update the title for it. Just kind of, kind of kind of build out like a very short story and like a paragraph of like what that music would be good for. And other things that I would also do in your case specifically is I would also do a lot of like hashtag research. So you could take that opportunity as well for music. And I would put like, religious music or holy music. I'm not sure how people look for this, but I would start, adding some of those hashtags as well, besides just your own. And make sure that you are pinning comments that lead people into playlists of music, because you have a music channel, right? So since you have a music channel, some people are going to listen in the background. They're just going to listen to, the music in the background where they're doing other stuff. So the best thing that you can do to facilitate that is to, on a regular basis, put together playlists and make sure that you have those playlists linked to relevant, stacks of music people can listen to in the background, and then link them from all of the end cards, link them from all the relevant videos for that playlist, link them from the end cards, and then make sure that you also have all of your pinned comments heading in that direction as well. All right, so we're going to do another one here. So this one is going to be, we're just going to do purple. And if you are just joining us, what we're doing is we are looking at YouTube channels. And we are giving feedback. So all you have to do is put that word purple in the chat, and this tool is going to count them, and then we're going to randomly select somebody. All right, waiting for those to come on. I'm going to add this banner down here. Boom. So in case anybody comes into the chat. Okay, here we go. We're at 35. We're pulling it. Boom. Boom. Okay, we got book summaries. Love it, love it, love it. I have a friend of mine back when I had, man, I think I might have had like 15,000 subscribers on my channel. He had 50,000, and I was like, oh my gosh, his channel's just humongous, absolutely humongous. But now he's I think he took a break and then he got back to it. Not sure, but how am I going to find this? Okay, let's go to the channel sort. Oh, was that it? Yeah, this is a bad thing about naming your channel something like this, is because you make it really hard to find you, and there's a bunch of people that are going for the same name. So you can see here how you're not standing out in any way. What I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of looking for your profile picture. Technically, I can just click it out of chat, but I'm just trying to illustrate the channel name problem right now. Okay, here we go. Found it. So that effort that I went to, most people aren't going to do that. So I would first, step number one is I would reconsider your channel name. Some people will name their channel like that because they think it'll make their channel show up in the top of YouTube search, but it won't. So what YouTube shows at the top of search is what people are looking for, and what people typically respond to for those results. So I would definitely update this name. So I know you have book summaries 527. But like, let's say, for example, this is where this becomes really important. Let's say, for example, I watched a video on your channel. Let's say I watched the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. So I watched that video, and then I'm like, man, I love the way this person does book summaries. And then I'm meeting my brother D for coffee, and we're hanging out. We're talking about YouTube channels, talking about stuff that had happened over the last few days. And I'm like, hey, yeah, man, I watched this channel. It does awesome book summaries. Check it out. It's called Book Summaries. Go look for it on YouTube. It's never going to find you, right? Because right here, the channel name is Book Summaries. I know it has 527 in your handle here, but most people aren't going to be looking at your handle. They're going to be looking at what you've named your channel. So yeah, I would definitely just get on that as soon as you possibly can. Next thing, you are doing the right thing here in terms of, putting the part 3 and the part 4 at the end of your title if you're going to put it in there, because some people will put that at the beginning, but you don't really need that in there since you already have it in your thumbnail anyway. I think with the actual Ben Franklin in there, it looks like an AI thumbnail, which I think is okay. But I think that might grab attention to people that are interested in this. And you do have the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. I think you're missing an opportunity here, because the cool thing with thumbnails and titles on YouTube is you have your thumbnail and then you have your title, and the two of these things work together to win. It's the best I can do for a cursor. Sorry. But those two things work together as a team to win the click, right? So because of that, I would not just repeat what it is that you have in your title or in your thumbnail down here in your title. Just from a best practice standpoint, you're wasting an opportunity. What I would do instead is I would have book summary up here in the title, or up here in the thumbnail, or I would have I would just have an image of Ben Franklin, but where he's centered, and it's just like a really up close thing of him, and maybe even put Ben Franklin kind of, behind him or something like that, so it's clear, and then have the autobiography of Ben Franklin. And I believe that instead of having part 2 and part 1 and part 3, I think that you would be better off here doing the autobiography of Ben Franklin, book summary, because then what you're doing is, let's see here, I'll show you. You can see as I type this, let me make this bigger so you can see what I'm doing. So as I type this, okay, we have book review, right? So we have the autobiography of Ben Franklin book, and it doesn't look like people are actually looking for, oh, there's a summary right here. Okay. Boom. So basically what you do is when you add that book summary to the end, is you give yourself the opportunity, and you might show up here anyway eventually, but you give yourself the opportunity to show up here when people are searching for it. Because what you're doing here, this is called, because I see you're just getting started, so I'm going to explain this out a little bit. So what this is called a long tail keyword phrase. And what that is you're doing just an exact match of what people are looking for when they're looking for information on YouTube. If you do this, then, and you just do a quick search before you decide which book you're going to do, and you figure out exactly how people are looking for it, then you can make sure that you're matching exactly what it is that people are looking for, and that's going to give you a leg up. And the reason it's going to give you a leg up is because even though your videos are a book summary, they're still like 30 minutes long, right? 30 minutes, 38 minutes. So you have some short ones here, but these long ones is still a pretty big commitment, which is fine. Some people will sit back and watch those. However, if people are looking for book summaries and they're responding the best to like 5-minute and 6-minute and 8-minute versions of this, then the 30-minute version and breaking it up into multiple series might end up being overkill. So feel free to keep trying it for a bit, if you want. But I think just compared to what's showing up here, that you might be better off going for something a little bit more easily digestible in terms of video length itself. But feel free to keep rolling with this. But the first thing that I would do though is I would make sure that all of your titles are not just repeating the title with a part 2 or part 3, that you actually do an individual book summary for each book. So basically, here's one book summary, here's another book summary of a different book, here's another book summary of a different book, instead of breaking it down into these parts like this. Because technically what you're asking for here is you're asking for somebody to watch like over an hour of a book summary, when there's a whole pile of videos and search results that are under 10 minutes long, to where they can also get a summary of what's going on in the book. So I would definitely consider that. It's a text-to-speech channel. Will it work? Probably not. If it's using like an AI voice, probably not. Those types of channels, like people do they're called kind of cash cow channels, or YouTube automation channels is kind of the play. If you're going to do it, it's like it's okay to, try it and just see if you do break out. But I know a lot of people are having trouble monetizing that type of content right now, just because you can literally automate every step of it. So since you can automate every step of it, then people are able to spam the platform with it. And because of that, people are, and YouTube is choosing to not monetize a lot of those channels when they come up for review. So it might work in terms of bringing attention to what it is that you're doing, but I'm not sure if it's going to work in terms of you being able to monetize it or not, because that's a big problem. Like a lot of the faceless YouTube channels are selling this idea of doing stuff like this, and the big humongous thing that they're leaving out is that an automated AI based channel like this, it might get views, but you might not be able to monetize it. So you're essentially wasting your time unless you just want to do it for free. And usually when people are doing something for free, they're doing it because they enjoy it, not because they just want to, hey, I'm going to have, Chat GPT or Tube Spanner write my script, plug that script into 11 Labs, have 11 Labs give me the audio for it, and then I'm going to drop it into, something else to actually make the B-roll for it. Like you can automate either the whole process or large parts of that process. And because of it, it's usually not something people follow as a passion project, but you might, I'm not sure, but I would definitely just be careful if you do want to, make something that's monetized, because like, for example, a lot of those people that are making the facialist YouTube channels that are teaching other people how to make facialist channels, those people are actually making like hand curated, very intentionally put together content versus, just like an automated voiceover with, AI imagery there. Oh, you're not even like showing anything. Yeah, you're I'm not going to say that this isn't going to work, but what I am going to say, because I don't want to be that guy, but what I am going to say is that this is likely to be very challenging for you. Okay. Because, who knows, it might get picked up. People might enjoy it, but because it is just audio only, yeah, you're probably going to have a hard time with this, because one thing, if you go and you look at the search results, this is another thing about YouTube search that people just don't think about. When it comes to YouTube search, this also tells you like what people respond to, right? So when you think about, okay, what is it that people respond to? Let's see what this is doing. Okay, this is actual content, right? So here, not only are you listening to it, but you actually get to see something happening. Technically, some of this is, a little bit automated as well, but it definitely, requires, work and skill to be able to put this stuff together. But, people are responding to this. Let's see what this one is. This one looks like it's audio only. So this one has 1.7 thousand views. This is audio only, it looks like. I'm not sure if it's like AI voice. Oh, no, they're changing stuff in here too. Okay, yeah. So this one, they're also changing everything up. But yeah, like when it comes to search, I would just look around and see like, okay, for the videos that people are responding to, that are getting a lot of views on them. Like this one has 307 views a year ago. I wouldn't count that one. But I would definitely come in here and I would say, okay, 91,000 views. What are they doing? It's been on for 8 years. So it's had a time to collect it. A year ago, 1.7 thousand. What are they doing? They're also changing things up. So maybe I should do that. But I would, at the very least, if you're going to keep pursuing what it is that you're doing, at the very least, I would go in and I would just do this research to see what other people are doing, to see how you can stand out against the content that is currently getting views for this. Now this one, 2.5 years ago, this one's exactly what it is that you're doing. It's actually less. They don't even have a graphic here because it was 4 years ago. So in this particular one, they have the autobiography part 1, and here it is something people are just listening to, because if we go into this, there isn't anything changing. They're doing exactly what it is that you are, exactly what it is that you're doing. So people are responding to that at least enough to get 2,000 views on it. But again, I really don't think that you're going to get monetized. I hope you do, and I hope I'm incorrect on that if you do pursue it. But I think with that type of content that you're working uphill. So just to be transparent, right? Just to be transparent with you. Okay, let's do another one real quick. If you're just joining us, what we're doing is we are looking at channels, just giving some tips on, things that you might be able to do to improve. Here we're going to do, try Tube Spanner. And the reason I'm putting try Tube Spanner is because right now we got 58 people in here, and everybody here should at least go to tubespanner.com when you get a moment. You don't have to go now. but you can if you want. But just when you get a moment, just go to TubeSpanner, see what's there, see what's available, sign up, try it, see if you think that you get any type of value out of it. Because I know that, yes, I'm here on the TubeSpanner channel. Yes, we're definitely trying to bring attention to TubeSpanner, and we're adding value to you as a, thing with that. But the reason I'm trying to bring attention to it, anybody that knows me knows that I only represent stuff that's good. The only reason I'm bringing attention to TubeSpanner, or the reason that we're trying to bring attention to it, is because it will add value to you. For some type of channels or some type of content, maybe it's not going to be the best fit, but for most of the people that are here, there's stuff in TubeSpanner that'll help you. Okay, so we got 35. Oh, and TubeSpanner also mentioned free donuts. Yeah, and we have free donuts in the back, right? Those are in the back. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so next up here, we've got... Oh, I thought we were going to do the gold prospecting one. Okay, we got aimed music. Oh, nice. Dude's on a cello. I love it. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, so subscribe for upcoming content, aimed music on Spotify and on Amazon Music. Hopefully you're over on Apple Music as well. I feel like I've looked at your channel before. I think I have. I think I've looked at this before. This seems, this seems familiar. Because, I remember you like being out in these environments. Yeah, I think I've looked at this before. Okay, but anyway, we've got aimed music. Here we've got music videos 3 weeks ago, 4 months ago, 8 months ago, 10 months. Let's see what you got. Okay, step number one, big elephant in the room here, is you definitely need to get more consistent. Uploading 1, 2, 3 videos in a 6-month time, it's not enough. If you're wanting to build this up as like a serious thing, and you're wanting to be like, really turn it into something awesome, then I would definitely start uploading videos on a regular basis. In addition to that, and a way to do that would be like, I don't know how many songs that you know, or even how many original songs that you've made or anything like that. But really, when you go to these environments, making sure that you are like, okay, let me record like several videos in this like one environment, so that you have different stuff to put up on a regular basis. Even if that means you're sitting in your backyard, or you're sitting in a room somewhere, whatever the thing is. If you're playing the cello on a regular basis and you're trying to bring attention to your Spotify for it, I would definitely be publishing content on a more regular basis. In addition to that, I just want to see something really quick here. Oops. So, yeah, May 26th. So you've got some shorts, looks like that are kind of new. So yeah, so I would definitely, because you have a music channel, and because you're not being that consistent here, I would definitely be extremely consistent here, and I would be publishing content here on a regular basis. I wouldn't do conducting music during wisdom teeth removal and things like that. Instead, I would make sure that you build out your playlist. So if somebody like me runs across your content and they click into this and they're like, wow, this is amazing, I go to your channel and I find your shorts and I just sit back and listen to every single one of them. I do that all the time, to where if I am, because I listen to tons of music on YouTube. So if I run across something in shorts, I'll hit the channel page, I'll subscribe if it's something good, and then I'll sit there and I'll just go through song after song after song. I hit the channel page, maybe I'll add it to a playlist or something of music I'll listen to while I work. But just making sure that every short that you have is something that people can enjoy, is definitely something that that I would do. Yeah, see, like this one here, this is also where it kind of breaks it, right? So you have here, this fire pit is over 2 feet tall, has nothing to do with music, and it's got 1.7 thousand views on it, right? So like, for example, like this one is bringing in people that don't care about this stuff, right? So that's why it's so important for everybody here to make sure that the content that you're publishing to your channel, that you're being really intentional about it, and you're thinking about it in terms of like, who is it that I'm actually trying to serve with this content, right? and that you make sure that everything you make is catered for those people. Other things that I would do also is I would get some of these pictures that you have, because you have some really interesting looking pictures, even though the imagery in the song itself might not be that. I would definitely like have like you in the thumbnail, or something like that, as a means for people to recognize you. Because like if you are trying to build the brand around aimed music, and you've got this on Spotify and all the other streaming services, you got a YouTube channel for it, I would definitely try to make sure that it's all recognizable, right? So if people listen to this one and they're like, wow, this is great, then they can also get it over, they'll also know that it's you that made these other ones too. Yeah, I like that you are adding the longer ones in here. I think that's a good play for collecting watch time and stuff for the channel. But one thing that I would do is, here you have Joy to the World, GF Handle, 1 hour loop. I don't know if that's just one song, or if it's a compilation of songs, but I would also do this one, like, music for people who are, and then kind of fill in the blank there, like, wanting to relax, or, something like that, just to have it on something that more people can, instantly be interested in. Because that type of framing seems to work really well in music, when you frame it around like what you might get out of listening to the music versus the name of the song, like we talked about in the other channel. Okay, and while we have this up here, I'm actually going to look at Creaky's channel too really quick, as long as that's okay with him. So yeah, like on his channel, welcome to the channel where science and humor collide. Pretty clear there. Let me get this open. He's got himself up there as the personality. Welcome channel where science humor collide. I'm Creaky, full-time creator. Yeah, so like this is fine. But one thing that I would do, just because when this gets shared out, or when you share it or whatever, this first part of your video description gets shown to people, this isn't going to like move the needle for your channel, but just a fine tuning thing because you're far enough along. One thing that I would definitely do is I would do welcome to the channel. I would get the quotes off of there, by the way, and then say welcome to the channel where science, humor, and collide. And don't talk about yourself yet. Instead, say we debunk nonsense conspiracy theories and deliver facts with a side of sarcasm. Here you'll find me, and then continue on, and then have the part about yourself. So basically, just make this first part to where somebody shares it, all the information they're going to see is about them, so that if you share it, so that when they land on your channel page and see it, or when somebody shares it out, everything is about the viewer and what it is that you provide to the viewer. Another thing to mention as well is right here for this one for your subscribed. Make sure that this video is, like a really solid video. And I know that these types of things are just kind of easy to, not really update or anything like that, which is fine. But if you are like, okay, what are some things that I can do? I would definitely make sure that you are updating this with a very intentional video if this one isn't intentional already. And by intentional, what I mean is videos that you have for a particular purpose. Like, for example, if you have a sponsored video you need to bring attention to, if you have a video that sends people into a newsletter, if you have one, if you have, something like that, or a video that's proven to convert viewers into subscribers, actually for the already subscribed, that you've already got them there, so you don't need that, or a video that at least has a high CPM or something like that. News content, start binging here is where you find most updated content, 22 hours, 3 days, 5 days, fantastic. Okay, so first off, in your case, let's get into this real quick. So the first thing is I wouldn't expect people to, read all of this stuff. One thing that I would experiment with your thumbnails is, you see what you're doing here where you have the imagery of the flat earth stuff in there, is I would try to do that to where it's more clear. Like, you can see this on a small size because you're looking at it, here, the same size that I am on screen. So if you look at this, you can't really see that imagery that's going on behind you. You have flat earther. So, I mean, you have that text there. So hopefully that'll grab, some people that'll be like, hey, he's picking on flat earthers. So, so hopefully that'll grab some people. But I would definitely try to just lean more into that imagery there. Same exact thing on this one as well, because what you're doing here is you're focusing it more on you versus that thing that will help flat earthers, not flat earthers, but flat earthers and anti-flat earthers, like flat earthers and then everybody else. it'll help everybody identify, what it is that you're actually, talking about there. Do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, same thing here, right? Like this one too. So like here, like, I see that you have yourself in your thumbnails. I'm assuming that you're doing that because you want to, see, you want to help your recent viewers identify your content, so they'll click on it and come in. I see that you don't have it on this one though. And this one out of your most recent videos seem to have done the best. So one thing that I would also experiment with is look at this particular thumbnail. Maybe he's really famous and that's what did it. But yeah, he is. So Flat Earth Dave is a liar. So you have him, you got the Flat Earth imagery there. And that's just a really challenging concept, by itself for those people. So because of that, I think that one's fine. But the thing that stands out to me there is that you're not in it. You're not in this one either. Stonehenge is a giant's foot ? Being on YouTube. Yeah. So another thing that I would do also is like videos like this. I would try to double dip this type of thing. So obviously you're going for a recommendation play here. And for those of you that are new, because he has experience, so I'm just kind of talking to him like as an experienced creator. But for those of you that are new, you can intentionally target like search. You can intentionally target YouTube's recommendation system where most of the views are. And the thing that he's doing right here is this is why you can't trust everything on YouTube. What he's doing right here is he's doing something called like opening a loop or creating a curiosity gap to where somebody that sees that, he's trying to make them think if it just shows up on their homepage and he's competing with a bunch of other stuff they're interested in, he's wanting somebody to see that and go like, oh, I wonder why that is, right? I wonder what he's uncovered or what he's found or whatever. And then they click on it for there. But this is in no way has anything to do with anything search related currently. So one thing that I would definitely do for content like this is I would try to find places to double dip if you can. Because here for some of this, like if somebody looks for Flat Earth Dave, your video might pop up there. But for this, obviously recommendations is going to be the play for what you're doing. But I would see if there is anything that you could also add to this to double dip to where it would be targeted towards recommendation, but maybe there is, a keyword or keyword phrase in there to where you might be able to also pull some search traffic for some of this too. But I know the big win is in recommendations. And that's probably what you're going for there. Another thing just to consider is for these videos, because I know that you're doing like your graphic thing up here. I don't think you need to do that. Like you have you in a lot of your thumbnails and you have this little thing right up here that you could put up there in all of them without having the distracting yellow thing. I mean, the yellow thing does kind of grab attention when it's here by itself, but it might be distracting from everything else if it were to show up on a home page. So I would definitely, because I know you're a TubeSpanner user, I would definitely use TubeSpanner's thumbnail tool to just kind of put this on a home page and just see what it looks like. And for everybody that's watching, basically TubeSpanner has this tool. Let it load here real quick. But it has this tool right here where you can select, thumbnails that are already on your channel, or you can upload a thumbnail if you want to that you already have prepared on your computer. And basically when you do it, then you can see there, it just randomly put it into a place on the page and you can just look at it. And I can be like, okay, well, how does this stand out against everything else, right? Which in reality, if I'm looking at this one, right now, I could probably do a little bit more for that one on this page load. But I would definitely recommend that you do the same there just to see if this border ends up, kind of pulling away versus pulling into what it is that you're doing. Creaky Blinder Show, if you're not updating this anymore, I wouldn't worry about keeping that on there. So one thing that I would also do, I don't know if you were here earlier when I mentioned to Maya about, grouping stuff, but one thing that I would also do is I would start looking into things like this for your titles and how you're framing videos. So like on this one here, you have like, idiot flat earther threatens whoever this person is. Like that type of thing to start being like, okay, these are videos where I've named somebody versus these are videos, recent videos where I haven't. These are videos where I'm like insulting flat earthers, or conspiracy theorists, whatever. These are the titles where I'm actually insulting them versus where I'm just making a statement or something like that, and just start to see if you do notice a pattern there in terms of what people are responding to better. But I would use your grouping feature for that. Yeah, it looks like when you talk about other people, they seem to enjoy that. That's why I was mentioning, just getting the data on that just to confirm it. Curious. This was super funny, by the way. That guy with the license that joined while he was driving. I saw that on TikTok. It was hilarious. Do this experiment ever. Yeah, it seems like everything's like 45-ish and under for what you've been hitting for the last couple of months. I'm looking for any like outliers here. Got one there a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So in your case, man, really the thing that I would do, because you're doing the thing. So I would definitely just make like little tweaks. So now you probably have YouTube's A/B testing feature now. So one thing that I would start doing is taking some of the things that I mentioned and just start testing them and seeing if it makes a difference for you or not. But I would definitely start experimenting with some of these, thumbnails where it might not be as clear at a glance, because like one thing that's important to think about is like, okay, for this video here, for a home page, this might do great, right? Because it's big, you can clearly see this, right here. But this starts falling apart when it does start getting smaller. So with YouTube's new layout, not a huge deal. Because as you can see here, if I actually click into this, well, typically there's videos that show up down there, but they're not for whatever reason right now. Oh, that's great. Go YouTube, not even recommending content. But there should be videos down here, and those videos are big in size. So because of that, it's not as big of a deal down here. But for people that are still using the old layout plus channel pages and things like that, you wouldn't even be able to see that flat Earth, example there in a suggested video thumbnail. So I make sure that everything's big enough. Like when you're testing your thumbs, just make sure everything is big enough to where it's cleared. Basically, I would think about it like this. I'm not sure if you're trying to reach flat earthers and trigger them, or if you're trying to reach people that just think all that stuff is ridiculous. But if you are, like, either way it goes, if you're using imagery that both parties can identify with, then in that case, you're going to increase the likelihood of them responding to the content. So if you want to put yourself in it, that's fine, but I would test that too, both ways. I would test putting yourself in it, not putting yourself in it. I would test like, okay, let's just make a super simple thumbnail and see how that works. So where like I'm on one side and then I just got a big flat earth on the other, see how people respond to that. But I would get real heavy into thumbnail testing right now. And another thing that I would start testing on a regular basis across a nice handful of videos is this border. Have some with it, some without it. And I know it's part of your branding, but I would do that for the sake of seeing if it does cause a positive or negative response. And if you do find that it causes a negative response, then in that case, I would just put the little thing up here so they can identify that up in the corner, maybe put a little, bar behind that, and that's it. And then have the rest of it kind of speak for itself if you end up finding that. Other things too, just to keep in mind, like you got a decent amount of views on this, so like you're definitely hitting a mark. But one thing I would also think about too when you're writing your titles is here you have 99% of flat earthers don't understand their own experiments. So with this, you're pretty much making a statement right there that pretty much summarizes the whole video to where there's not even really a need to click on that. Like if you're not a regular viewer or whatever, like there's no real reason to actually click on this because you're saying everything right here, right? But if you had this as like 99% of flat earthers don't understand their own experiments because of this, then it creates a like, oh, okay, well, there's actually something behind this, right? So I would just be a little bit more mindful of that too when you're writing your titles versus like I'm making a statement that makes it to where they don't technically even need to click the video to know my opinion. Or is there something that I can add to this that might make this a little bit more compelling? And of course, you do that before you even make the video. So I'm not sure what your process is, but if your process is make the video and then try to shoehorn a title into it, start doing that in reverse too, especially with what it is that you're doing, so that you can make sure that you have it framed right here from the outside with your title, and then you can make sure that the content that you're doing actually matches, how you're framing it all up. Doing all this stuff here. This is great. Yeah, good. So yeah, if you have any questions about any of that, man, just reach out. To let me know. Okay, so next up on our list for our thing here, we're going to do another one. And the next one, yeah, I like the outline from a design perspective. Bland's Promised Land Ranch. It's just the effectiveness of it, right? Like I'm not sure if it's helping or hurting. That's why I think that he should definitely do the test. So I did something like that in the past. This is on my personal channel. I did something like that in the past. Mine was a little bit different because it was red. So it is a little bit different. But when I did that, once I got TubeBuddy, I started testing that. And I found out with my own thumbnails on my channel that people actually responded less to that border that I had on there. And all it was a border. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't like a little thing like he had up there in the corner too. It was just a border that I was putting around it because I thought that grabbed attention. But when I started testing it and I found out that people it didn't respond to those for whatever reason as much. So let's do tube spanner again. Oh, you know what? Let's do we're not going to do that. We're going to do Bo Darvel. I hope I spelled that correctly. If not, you can just spell it this way and it's going to do okay for today. Yeah, that's the thing. Bland's Promised Land Ranch, right? Is like when it comes to all this stuff, the best thing you can do, like, coming in here getting advice is great. And it can be really helpful for a lot of people. But the best thing that you can do, like once you get that information or even beforehand, is to like just test as much as you can, like try things and, experiment, because it's really easy to do everything in a way to where we're like, well, this is how I did it last time, so I'll just do it this time as well. And when we do that, we could be putting limits on ourselves that we don't even know. And if you start experimenting with things, then you'll start to be like, oh, okay, when I do this, then people respond in this way versus when I do this and they respond in that way. Okay, waiting for a few more of these to come in. Okay, and we are spinning. Here we go. Yeah, so LT's Custom Garage, fantastic. We're going to be looking at yours here as well. Yeah, so Bland's Promised Land Ranch says our shorts videos get hits, but our long forms don't do as well. So keep in mind that that's normal. So if I'm not sure like how long you've been making content for, but it's a totally different game when it comes to YouTube Shorts versus long form content. And the way to kind of look at it is, first off, according to YouTube, the first like 400 views or so, those are just impressions anyway. YouTube just kind of testing out your shorts, just so you know. But if you're getting more than that with shorts, the thing is like you're just sitting there scrolling and then they just happen. Boom, there you are. So In reality, you only have to be good at making grabbing people's attention and then keeping them in your video long enough for YouTube to deem it as a satisfactory experience. And then they move on from there, right? So you just have to be good at the making video part. When it comes to long form content, it's different because you not only have to be good at making long videos and holding their attention for a long period of time, but you also have to be good at coming up with topics that are appropriate for like a homepage of YouTube or search or recommended videos. You also have to make sure that you are good at making thumbnails that draw, attention to the right viewer. And you have to make sure that you're good at writing titles that compel people to click. And all of those are skill sets that you have to learn over time. Some people are better at it than others just by nature. Some people, they'll work on it for a really long time and still not get it. So it's just a different game that you're playing there. So if you are getting the results in shorts, but not the long form, just see that as like, okay, this is just, what I need to work on right now. It's not that YouTube is treating it differently or anything like that, because they're not. It's just that when you publish a long form video, the process of a viewer finding that content is different, is all it is. So, instead of it just happening, they have to make the conscious choice to click on your video. And that conscious choice is going to come from the topic of the video, how you grab their attention, and how compelling, the topic and the title are to actually, pull them in there. All right. So let's do LT's custom garage. 2,000 subs, nice work. 117 videos. So automotive customization at home in the garage. Sounds super, super good to me. Ooh, it's lowriders. Love it. Automotive fun in the garage. You're going to regular garage like you and I, building all sorts of custom vehicles and budget and having fun doing it. No scrapping shop. Absolutely love it. You're monetizing through merch and your official website, through PayPal, and through tools as an affiliate. Yeah, this is great. Okay, so made from scratch custom headliner 10 months ago. So as a non-subscriber, one thing that I recommend just to get things started is I would either put like a recent video here, or, just make a little trailer letting people know what it is that you have, maybe showcasing some of the cars that you've made or something like that. The reason I would do that, because I don't always recommend that people make trailers, but the reason that I would do it in your case is because I see here that you're putting in like sound systems, and up here you've got like a lowrider, it looks like a Impala or something in your channel art, so you're making like cool things. And I think showcasing all that in the trailer, like, hey, I'm, and then fill in your name there. Hey, I'm LT, if that's your name. So it's like, hey, I'm LT, and we make custom stuff like this. Boom. We make interiors. We make this. We make this. We make this. And we show you how to do it all. All you have to do is subscribe and, turn on all your notifications so you don't miss a video, type of thing. I would definitely do that just because you're doing really cool stuff. Next. So one of the things that I've mentioned here to a few channels is thinking about small sizes for your thumbnails and thinking about your content showing up next to a bunch of other content that, hey, thanks. Oh, there we go. Your video showing up next to a bunch of other content that YouTube is predicting that viewer is likely to be interested in, and trying to make sure that the imagery that you're using in your thumbnails is crystal clear in terms of what it is. So like, for example, here you have a good, strong focus on the car stuff, but I still think this could be better in terms of just like a little bit of framing, not having too much on there, and just focusing this more on that, not doing the cutout here in the back. You could still have the dog in there if you wanted, but not having the sky in the background, because that kind of makes this like mental separation of what that might actually be. Same exact thing here in this situation. And just focusing, like, it's fine having you in it like this, but I would definitely focus this side of it on just nice, clear pictures of the projects that you're working on. I would do that first. And the reason that I would do that first is because that's going to help people that are into car audio and car customizations. It's going to help them identify, everything faster. Because again, what you're competing with is like, let's say right now I go over to YouTube's homepage, and we'll see what's been watched here on the Tube Spanner channel, or what YouTube thinks is a good fit for the Tube Spanner channel. Oh, did my thing just lock up? Oh, there we go. And I'm going to come back to yours. But let's see, like right here. Okay, so these are things that YouTube thinks that TubeSpanner would be interested in. This down here is because I'm in Thailand, so it's geolocating that. But right here, right, like if your video were to pop up here, because I think what you're doing is cool in terms of the custom car stuff. I actually used to have a car with hydraulics in my youth. My first car, before I even had my driver's license, I had my temps when I was 15. And I went to an audio show in my hometown, and I bought a bunch of stuff and, you know, had an entire sound system in my car before I was even allowed to legally drive it alone. In addition to that, like as a little side thing, like a friend of mine, he worked at a service center, and it was a gas station. At that time, it was like the last standing full service gas station. And I'm not that old. It just happened to be like a novelty in that area. And he worked there, but they had an extra bay in the garage they didn't use for anything. And since he was also a kid at the time, and I was, so what we did is we basically, like when people would come in or whatever, like I would be in there working on my stuff, and then I started actually charging people to like hook up stereos and stuff like that to their cars. I just did it for a really small amount of time, but it was super fun. And we'd work on our own cars there and everything as well. But it was just a really good time. So so I'm into what it is that you're doing is what I'm getting at. So like if it were to show up here and I had a clear view of like, hey, that's a car, a lowrider, or hey, that's a audio system, then I might be more inclined to click on it, is the idea that I'm getting at. But I think with these, it gets the point across, but at a small size, those are going to be kind of hard to see. Pinstriping, goodbye to the second channel. Almost ready for color, bodywork and primer on a custom dash. Just a heads up, you don't need to put periods in the titles. I mean, you can if you want, doesn't hurt anything, but it's not something that you need to do. Yeah, this is another one where I would experiment, right? Like this one, you got a good response here, but I would experiment here on updating the thumbnail and in showing like a better picture of the work. Because here, I think that you have worked against this thumbnail over here on this side, but I think the I quit canceled thing kind of probably grabbed attention on this one, but you do have more with the actual car here, but I would even fill that out more with the car. Yeah, this one too. Like I would cut out the sky there. I would make this just a normal shot of the interior without a sky, so that it actually looks like you're looking into a car and not out the side of like an airplane or something like that. And I wouldn't worry about putting this kind of stuff on there, that extra design you have to fill the plate, to fill the space. Instead, that right there is what I'm talking about. Instead, I would just put it on, the interior fab or whatever with the little arrow going over to that, or just try focusing it all on the interior. So you probably also have YouTube's A/B testing tool now. If not, you're going to have it really soon. But I would start getting really aggressive on testing the imagery versus, doing these more, like cut out, type of things. Yeah, like this too, right? Like what you're doing, like it looks fun, and how you put the clouds and all that stuff in there, it all looks fun, but I think it works against you. And the reason I think it works against you is because like this would be so much better if this was in like a real environment instead of having these like clouds and stuff around there. Even if it showed some other cars or something like that, I think you'd be better off like blurring that stuff versus, having it sitting with like a sky background. I think that's working against you. But of course, you'll be able to use YouTube's A/B testing tool to confirm. Yeah, other things too is like this one. If the main thing that you're doing, because you have heat forming plastic interior panels, this is just a structural thing. So here you have heat forming plastic interior panels. If that's what this whole video is about, but then you're highlighting the bad ideas and design pivots, I would actually front load this with the heat forming the plastic interior panels and then put the bad ideas and design pivots at the end. And the way that I would actually structure that is I would do heat forming, plastic interior panels, bar, bad ideas and design pivots. Is the way that I would structure that, because then what you're doing is you're grabbing the attention with the heat forming plastic interior panels. And then I would also go in and I would get these out of here and I would put just a bigger focus. If you're going to have you in there, that's fine. But I would definitely make sure that you have more emphasis on the actual heat panels that you're talking about here in the in the background. And if you are going to do text on here, instead of like custom ain't easy, like custom custom interior panels might be a better move there in terms of the text. And if you want to get like really specific here, you also have right here where you have easy is getting covered up by this particular timestamp. But yeah, I would definitely test some of that, just because the whole reason I think that it's working against you, like I think it's cool in terms of like how you've made it kind of part of the brand, but I just think it's working against you from the view of like, okay, if if you're trying to connect with people that are into custom interiors and just custom work on cars from the outside, who's not familiar with you yet, who doesn't know anything about your content, like how can you make that as clear as possible, right? That would be the thing that I would work on right now, because you can make good videos, and you've proven that by how some of these videos perform, right? So like you're already off to the races there in terms of like, okay, you're getting people to click, you are making videos that people are enjoying, but you're having some problems with some of them to where they're just not hitting the mark, right? So because of that, I would go through for the ones that are not hitting the mark. And I'd be like, okay, is there any way, like here's what you want to do is you just want to sit back, and you can write this down if you want, but you want to sit back when you're thinking of like, how am I going to package this up? First, when you come up with the video idea by itself and you're like, what am I going to make a video about? The first step should be, what's my title going to be? And then what is my thumbnail going to be? And how's my thumbnail going to work together with the title? Then when you're thinking about your thumbnail by itself, ask yourself, okay, what about this is going to help people that are interested in automotive customization? How is this, like, what about this thumbnail is going to help them identify at a glance that this has something to do with that, right? And is there anything that I'm doing with this thumbnail that is taking away from or possibly distracting the viewer from that thing that's going to help them identify that this has something to do with automotive restoration? Okay. Ask yourself those two questions while you're putting your thumbnail together, and make sure that it's crystal clear. And then you want to ask yourself, okay, is there anything about this thumbnail that I believe would cause somebody that's interested in this particular topic to click on it? And then think of your title, and think of how your thumbnail and your title work together as a team to win the click. And ask yourself, if somebody were to see this thumbnail, if this grabs their attention and they read their title, what exactly about this title would compel that person to click that I'm trying to reach? And if you can't define it, keep working on it until you can, because if you can't define it, you can't expect other people to click on it, right? So just try to be intentional about, the thumbnails, the imagery that you're using, making sure that you're not putting stuff in your thumbnail for the sake of filling space, more so that you're putting stuff in your thumbnail for the sake of clarity, right? That's what you're going for, is clarity, or to bring attention to something. Like, for example, here, how you have this arrow going over into here, that kind of thing is fine. But like when you're filling space with like these types of things and just putting like a look and stuff like that in there, I just wouldn't mess with that kind of stuff. And I would just focus it more on like, how can I help people that are into customizations quickly identify this when it's showing up next to a bunch of other content that also might, some of it might also be, customization type content. And one thing I gotta see, because I just have to. Hold on. Okay, good. Yep, good. You're pushing to that. And one thing I want to bring it to your. Okay, nope, you got it. I earned from qualifying purchases. You got it. All right, fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, yeah, good. Yes, hopefully you found that helpful. Yeah, so a little fun for the chat here. So yeah, when I was younger, I had I even have a subwoofer in my car now. Like I'm just, that's my thing. I listen to hip hop, a lot, and electronic music a lot and stuff like that. I listen to pretty much everything, but I just love the low end in a car and everything. I got a sub here. I got a sub in the music room over here. I've got a sub in the music room over there. We've got subs for, everything downstairs. Like, yeah, I've got a subwoofer in my bedroom. So that's how much I am into the whole, like, subwoofer thing. Like, yeah, my bedroom, I've got a projector on the floor that goes up onto the ceiling, so we can lay in bed and watch, movies on the ceiling. And then I have like a surround stereo thing in there, or sound bar thing with satellite speakers with a subwoofer in there too. So like while we're laying in bed, we get the full, full movie experience. But yeah, I think what you're doing though is cool. Like I love that stuff. Yeah, the car that I used to have, uh, uh, yeah, I had hydraulics on it. So I had two pumps, and with those pumps, I had, God, was it 4 or 8 of the deep cycle batteries? I think it was only 4. So it was a small car. So I think it was 4. And at that time, we had to custom make because it was and I'm embarrassed to say this, but it was a Toyota Tercel that I had hydraulics on. So we had to like custom make the struts and everything for it. It was like, it was an ordeal, but we did it, and it was super fun. But let's see here. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out here. If you didn't get your channel pulled up today, we are doing these on a more regular basis. We're doing these bi-weekly now. So because of that, if you enjoyed this, definitely make sure that you keep an eye out for the next one. It will also likely be either on a Friday or a Tuesday, because that seems to be the days that these are happening. So just keep an eye out for that or check in. And besides that, have an amazing rest of your week. And if I did look at your channel and you have questions about any of the stuff that I talked about today, if I did look at your channel and you have questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Twitter and just let me know that I, looked at your channel during the Tube Spanner stream, and then I can add any clarity to anything. Like I can't like consult with you, so to speak, like, via Twitter, but I can, just add clarity to any of the recommendations that I gave, or maybe workshop something with you real quick or whatever. But my DMs are open for that if I did look at your channel today. And, really quick also, let's see here. Yeah, Bland's Promised Land Ranch says teenagers in the 80s, 90s, subwoofer addicts now. Totally. Absolutely. LT's Custom Garage says thumbnails and titles are my biggest struggle. They are for a lot of people. They were for me too. Like, when it comes to expressing ideas through imagery, and doing it in a way that will grab the attention of the people that you're trying to reach, it's a challenge, right? It becomes more challenging. Like some people have to do it just stylistically. So, for example, like some of the creators that do that, like high level entertainment content, some of that they just have to lean on like a style that helps people identify that it's that type of content. And like that's where you get into like a whole other level of things being challenging. So yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, so yeah, so thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Again, we're gonna be doing these we do these now on a somewhat regular basis, every other week. So make sure you check in for that. We've also got some other stuff happening kind of behind the scenes here. So it's possible there might also be somebody else joining the Tube Spanner channel to make some extra videos, that kind of stuff. I'm going to be making some more content here as well after I do some tutorials for them for the new Tube Spanner update, because they've done a complete revamp on the entire user interface on the inside of the website. So if you are a Tube Spanner user, make sure that you check that out. If you haven't been in there in a while, it's like a totally new experience, and it's amazing. In addition to that, the extension is also getting updated soon as well, with a new skin, so to speak. So make sure that you do keep an eye out for that for those of you that are using the extension. And on that note, have an awesome rest of your week, and make sure that you do go to tubespanner.com and check it out. And I will see you next time. Peace.